Hey, what's up, everybody? Josh Pono, First Class Real Estate SD. This is a video that is specifically about training canceled and expired calls. I have Justin on the line. He's a new agent in the office, and he just had his first 2-hour call session on expireds, and we're going to break down everything from emotions, from lessons, from questions, and we're going to tie it all to the program that we train here at First Class Real Estate SD. So, Justin, how's your first your call session, man? How'd it go?
Honestly, it was great. Definitely got bullied around a little bit, but it was a great learning experience.
For sure, for sure. Now, you called for 2 hours, and how many people do you think picked up on the day?
I probably
Picked up the phone.
I connected through to about 4 to 5 people.
Okay, 4 to 5 people, 2 hours, and you were doing the first 30 minutes or so on the new expires, or how long were you on the new ones before you switched over to the older ones?
From the whole 2 hour period, I was on well, I'd say about like an hour and 50 minutes. I was on the new ones.
And were you on a single line, double line, or triple line?
Triple line, whereas calling 3 people at a time.
All right. How was the experience of having multiple lines and statusing things and changing things? How did that all go?
It took me like probably like 10 minutes to get used to it. It came at me pretty fast and like just understanding the system, how everything works. And
Yeah.
yeah, it came at me pretty fast, but I started getting used to it.
Well, I was telling you earlier, when you first get into that dialer and you first get into the calls, you have to give yourself time to adjust to the speed, right? And so, would you say that maybe as that was coming at you, there was a little anxiety or a little like tension of like, oh, this is new, or like, what were your feelings in that moment where it was coming at you?
Yeah, I definitely got a little bit of anxiety. The first few calls were a little tough just because they came at me so fast and I was trying to look for the names. I was trying to, or if it like was if it didn't have a name and it just said
Possible owner?
yeah, possible owner, like
Yep.
I it
Yep.
kind of made me freeze up. I was like, shoot, what do I say? So I just say like, hey, and then I would just say like I wouldn't even say the name, I'd just say my name and then say good morning.
Yep.
And yeah, but
That one's
definitely.
gonna throw. I mean that's a challenging one no matter what, because you want to try to make the call as relevant and as personable as possible. You want it to sound like you know who you're calling, but it says literally possible owner. So oh, fantastic, and we had that drop in. Fantastic. So what Justin's talking about is in the list you're gonna sometimes have a lead that will say possible owner like this one. So it's ringing, it's going, it fires it right into your platform and it says, hey, there's a possible owner. And usually it just starts out with a voice that says, hello. And you're like, uh-oh. So totally normal. What I typically will do on that one is I will just say, hey, good morning. My name's Josh Pono. I was calling about 6398 Clubhouse Drive. Is that property for sale or did you already sell it? And I just don't say the name. So I say the good morning, Josh Pono. And I roll right into it to see, because sometimes they'll say, hey, that's not me. I'm not the owner. No problem. Throw them in the trash. On to the next one. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, I own that, or no, it's not for sale. So on possible owner, just say, hey, good morning. Hey, good afternoon. This is Josh Pono, or this is Justin Studi, or whatever your name is, obviously. And you deliver it, and then just say, hey, I was calling about 123 Main Street, or 6398 Clubhouse Drive. I was curious, did you sell that home, or is it still for sale? And again, that's me popping right into how I deliver it every time. You notice the pace, you notice the tonality, and you notice the conviction in which I speak. People have to know through either your actions, your words, or your tones that you're confident, you're successful, you can get the job done of selling their most valuable asset oftentimes. So, but yeah, possible owners are a challenge. What else? What else came at you that kind of threw you for a loop?
So I got on the phone with the guy and like I was talking to him. I got through like saying like good morning. And then I started getting through to like odd like this was after 8:10. So I was saying like I know I know you've received like numerous calls from agents this morning and probably even have some realtors hiding in your bushes.
Yeah.
And then,
How did that go? That's not an easy line to deliver right out the gate because if you don't deliver it right, they almost get upset about it.
yeah, yeah, I
Did you go
definitely
through
had a
that a little
call.
bit?
Yeah, no, I don't think I fully delivered it right, so I think he got a little upset about it.
How did
And
he
so
respond?
he started like cutting me off, so obviously like I let him
Yeah.
talk for a second.
Yeah.
And then he said like what was it? I think he said something about like he's like starting to
Was that Daniel Brooks?
I'd have to go back. It may be.
Okay. Keep going. I'm listening.
And he said like I don't know the beginning of what he said, but basically just said like, all right, like, oh yeah. He said he was renting, like he's starting to like rent his house unless I have an offer, like he doesn't want to talk,
Okay.
and like an offer on the table.
Okay, that's right. So, couple things. One thing is on the approach with the realtors hiding in your bushes. What you're looking to do with this line is separate yourself from the other agents, right? So, you're calling, usually they'll say things along the lines like, well, I get a million calls, or I've got a 10 call this morning, or this is obnoxious, or why are you calling me? Like they say these things. It's all around this anxiety of being called numerous times. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, imagine being in that position. You just had your home, didn't sell. Maybe there's a good relationship with the agent. Maybe it was a horrible experience. Maybe your plans are up in the air. That typically has a lot of family stress. And then all of a sudden you got 10, 15 agents calling you the following day saying, "Oh, I could have sold it. I could." And so there's some empathy and some sympathy that can be shown. And when I approach those people, I want to separate myself from, I'm not this bravado agent, I'm the greatest, you should have hired me, blah 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 blah. What I want to let them know is I'm approaching them from a completely different perspective. So when I deliver that line, it's, you know, hey, Justin, I know you've gotten a lot of phone calls this morning. I mean, shoot, you probably even have them hiding in your bushes at this point, right? And it's a tone, not a mocking tone, right? But it's almost a like, yeah, it is obnoxious the way these people are following up with you, which is kind of humorous because what are we doing?
Yeah,
Following up with them right then. But if we
exactly.
take that approach of, yeah, no, I get it. You probably have them hiding in your bushes at this point. And you'll notice I change my body, I change my tone. Like motion will help create emotion. And there's absolutely truth into it. Of so when I'm moving, it's like, ha, and I have that little laugh, right? Like it's a trained so that I can soften it a little bit. You probably have them hiding in your bushes, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
Almost like you're being a little sarcastic, but you're just like, hey, I get it. It's frustrating. They're probably hanging from the tailpipe as you're driving down the road, right? And then what you're looking for, and when you deliver it right, it works so well. When you deliver it just on point, right pace, right tonality, they're like, yeah, I know. It's been super obnoxious. And they literally just come onto the other side of the phone and are like, yeah, so anyway, so what's going on? Right? And now well, listen, I'm calling because we specialize in selling homes that other agents couldn't. I know you've got just overwhelmed. I just wanted to check in on you and see how things are going and what's the story moving forward. And oftentimes you'll get them where they're like, listen, here's the deal. Great. And then you just take notes. So keep practicing that line. It's a line that you can come back and watch this again, but it's like, I know you probably have them hiding in your bushes right now. In regards to the delivery of the rebuttal to the objection, hey, unless you have a cash buyer, this conversation is over, or I'm not talking to you. Hey, I totally get it. You're only willing to deal with people that are really motivated or going to make your life easy. Hey, real quick, if I can get you a full price cash offer, how long do you need to move to the next place? So I don't want to battle him. I don't want to talk about, do I have a cash buyer? Like all that stuff. None of it's relevant. If there was a cash buyer, whatever happened, he missed the market. There was something that went wrong, or she missed the market, whatever it may be. So I'll just say, hey, if I did get you that cash offer today from a buyer that was motivated and qualified, how long would you need to move? Where are you going next? Who would write up the paperwork for you on the listing? Who do I send it to? Well, do you have a buyer? My point is simply, and that's what they'll probably do, because most of the time they know what you're doing, but you just want to keep the conversation moving forward because it gives you more opportunity to uncover something. They might say, well, do you have a buyer? Listen, sir, I get where you're coming from. You're frustrated. All I'm saying is that 50% of everybody that doesn't sell a home still needs to move. Are you just really frustrated and don't want to talk to anybody? Or are you seriously not moving unless you get an insane over market price, no brainer? Do you really want to move, or are you just kind of seeing what the market would do? Now, if you're getting a super competitive guy, right? And let's say the first time you go, hey, I totally appreciate it. Where are you going next? When I get you a cash offer to move, where do you want to go and how long do you need until you can get out of the house? If they come back to you with like, listen, I'm not talking to you, and then you say, hey, no problem, have a great day.